A Washington Post article reads the following headline: "Science prove it. Today's rappers are more poetic than Shakespeare." Let's vibe with it. I am Alex, and this is the Crocc theory. So apparently, data scientists compared Shakespeare's highly praised vocabulary to that of contemporary hip-hop artists. It turns out that a good handful of rappers use greater vocabulary than Shakespeare did for the same size block of lyrics. A genre that started out in the New York underground party scene is now considered to stand above the high art form poetry. Looking at today's mainstream artists, that might be hard to believe. If you're going off Gucci Gang by Lil Pump or I Love It by Kanye West, it's hard to believe rap has surpassed the originators of rhythm and flow. Can the two even be compared? There was a time many people believed rap stood for rhythm and poetry, although that theory has been debunked many times. Nonetheless, many early MCs claim rap was influenced by both poetry and stand-up comedy. This is very obvious in the content of rap today. On the comedy side, punchline masters Drake, Kanye, and Lil Wayne show their dominance. On the poetry side, the likes of Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Lupe Fiasco spring to mind, just to name a few. Both rap and poetry use rhyme and meter to frame the art of storytelling and narration, something mastered by the likes of Edgar Allan Poe and Shakespeare on the poet side. Shakespeare is not only known for his great poetry and playwriting, he's also known to invent many different words in the English language. My favorite English word invented by Shakespeare is hands down swagger, nowadays abbreviated to swag by the hip-hop culture. The culture is also known to invent and popularize many words. Some that come to mind are Wankster by 50 Cent, Bling Bling by Lil Wayne, and of course for shizzle by the OG Snoop Dogg. Bling Bling and for shizzle are officially added to the English dictionary. So that's one thing they had in common. Hip-hop gets a bad rap though, no pun intended. Many naysayers claim rap is a low-level art form, meaning it's entertaining but it holds no aesthetic values, stating it's hypersexual, violent, and promotes drugs and alcohol use. Yet, those are the ingredients to some of Shakespeare's best work. Sure, he was a little more covert with his innuendos. Quote, "By my life, this is my lady's hand. These by her very C's, her very U's, and her T's." End quote. That was a slick way to hide the N in there. If you didn't get it, look it up. Also in 2015, researchers claim that Shakespeare might have smoked weed. A South African university were loaned fragments of tobacco pipes owned by Shakespeare, and they tested positive for cannabis residue and remnants of Peruvian cocaine. That would explain some of his crazy stories. In both art form, the focus is on the words, granted not in all variations of hip-hop. If the words don't relate to the receiver, it results into a disconnect. Tupac was arguably one of the best storytellers in hip-hop. He started out as a poet before he started rapping. One of Pac's famous poems, The Rose That Grew From Concrete, was released as spoken word song after his death. Kendrick Lamar raps are studied at Harvard University and he is a Pulitzer Prize winner. The same honor is given to rapper Lin-Manuel Miranda for his Broadway musical Hamilton, and also won a Tony Award and many more accolades. These two art forms mirror each other perfectly. One could even argue that rap is the natural evolution of poetry. Much like photography evolving into videography, the one did not replace the other, as they can both coexist. Rappers have more in common with poets than they do with most other music art forms. One thing is for sure though, after a bumpy start, hip-hop has certainly won the world over. I hope you enjoyed this second episode. Please subscribe, share, and let's discuss. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode.